Here's Megan, ready for the Walvoord vacation of a lifetime going to Europe.
Yeah.
July 16th, 2012. Hey.
You excited?
Very excited.
8 hours we'll be there.
Yay. Here's Megan and I at the Schiphol Airport. Here we are outside of the Anne Frank house, getting ready to go in. There's a view down the canal and the street. There's the Anne Frank statue. Here's the Rijksmuseum. Megan next to a Dutch warship model. There's a replica of Van Tromp's effigy. There's a painting of Van Tromp's battle. The battle Cornelius Trump was in. Here's Cornelius Trump's weaponry. Rembrandt's Jeremiah. The painting known as Isaac and Rebecca, or the Jewish Bride. It's the goose. Here's Rembrandt's Night Watchman.
Zoek de verschillen tussen de kleine en de grote nachtwacht aan de linkerkant van het
On our way to Duff. And there is the original windmill, which Holland is known for.
Here we are at the new church. Here we are in the new church. Prince William of Orange's tomb. There's the prince's tomb. This is the old church. This is Van Tromp. They're restoring it over here, so that's all you can see of it. Here's what it looks like in miniature. Here's some of the artwork from the Van Tromp tomb. There's the plaza looking at the new church. There's the cheese shop. Here we are mixing some cheese.
Here's the sign for the airborne wall.
And across the way there's the monument. Here we are at the Airborne Museum. There's a British Sherman from the Argylls.
spoor achtergelaten.
SS German. The Panzer. The hotel that we're in, or the museum now, was a hotel, and here's some of the tableware that was hid during the fighting in this area. Newspaper clippings. This dress is made of parachute material. So those other things back there are materials. This is like what it would be to be sitting on a plane waiting to go down for the drop. Sit on one of these benches. Here we are outside the Airborne Museum walking around, and what do we see but some Dutch deer?
We are driving to Cologne through this beautiful forest. Our first view of Cologne Cathedral.
Side view. Here we are at the front part of Cologne Cathedral. It's over the doors. Here we are, just walking into the cathedral. Here we are, looking down the central aisle of the Cologne Cathedral. An ornate altarpiece on the side of the chapel or cathedral. One of the entrances, or above one of the entrances. It's looking down the side of the chapel, or across of the cathedral. Here we are, sitting in a pew in the center aisle. Here's a side chapel. Here we are, walking up the steps of the Cologne Cathedral. There's a bell. Just look at it. That's it, the very top of the spire. Way up there. It's the German Roman Museum, all the way down there. it looks like. Very tip top. And we made it right there. That's the oldest foundation of the cathedral. This is part of the foundation for one of the towers, the right tower. Here's a look at some more of the masonry of the tower.
There's a beautiful cathedral. We're just at.
The Schweinskin. There's another view of Heidelberg. Here we are going to Heidelberg Castle. An artist rendering of how the castle would have looked. There's one of the keeps of the castle. It's been destroyed. And some of the lawn area. They would have kept some of the game. We are looking at an old gate to the castle. Different view of Heidelberg. Over there in that part of the castle where you see those chairs, they sometimes have concerts and plays. Here we are looking at Heidelberg. There's the main entryway into Heidelberg over the bridge. Here we have the Heidelberg fountain. These steps are very interesting because they're not made for people, they're made for horses. You can hear the bells chiming. Backside of the palace, so to speak. Keeping watch on the watchtower. Headed to the wine cellar and cafe. I'd say this ought to ensure a near endless supply of beverages. Here's another giant keg. Sugar on top of it. This is from on top of the keg. Here we are, looking down. We are at Rothenburg.
We found it! Rothenburg! Are you excited?
I am very excited. Here we are looking back at the main plaza. There's the teddy bear blowing the bubbles. Welcome to the Christmas store, not store. Here we are in the Christmas village. Making of Susie's present. Alright, here we are in Rothenburg. Here's our room that we have. So we're staying in the city. So there's the view outside of our window.
These are amazing.
German medieval town. There's Rothenburg at night, getting ready for the night watchman. Ooh, it's very chilly. There's the fabled mayor drinking a pint of beer, or a whole 10 gallons in order to save the town from destruction in the 14 or 1500s. He slept for 3 days afterwards. This is George, the night watchman.
Their main job to guard the city They were out in the streets like police, taking care of the city when all the others were sleeping. And should have the stage, because all the good people were at home. Those who were still out in the streets, with the drunken folks and feet, maybe even in. That's why it was dangerous, and night watchmen had to carry this kind of weapon. It's called a hellbar. One can do a lot of things. It's for multiple reasons. There were 6 of us, 6 night watchmen. Each had to guard his own distance. Now it's just me. I'm the only one who's still around, still doing it. Thank God. It was like that. Well, loud enough to make everybody wake up. It was close. And all the people who heard the signal ran out of their houses, trying to fight the fire as quick as possible. It was the biggest fear people knew. Nothing worse could ever happen to a city in the old days but a fire ignited. One of the 6 gates of Rome, it was the safest one. No enemy tried to get it. There's just a park and a cliff. We'll see that pretty soon once we get there. Safest gate and the oldest one as well. It's from 1360. The gate, the tower, the whole construction. And there's something else special. Once we walk in, you will see that in the first big door coming up is a small door cut into the big one. They called it a manhole. And they called it so because when the gatekeepers opened it, the hole was just big enough for one man to fit through. That's one man. Makes sense, doesn't it? It was in every city on every gate, always for the same use. It was for residents who made a certain kind of mistake. Guess which? Being late. Right. Last chance for people who missed curfew, for latecomers. You know, it was too dangerous to open the big gate at night. Why should a whole city get in danger for late? The danger was an enemy could have tried it in the same moment when the big gate was open.
There's the manhole that you'd have to go through if you were late at night.
Rain. There was pouring rain for a whole week. And you can maybe imagine what kind of streets they got back then. Forget it. It was all mud. And these troops got hundreds of carriers. Wagons, cannons. They made no miles anymore. They got stuck in the dirt running out of food. All these people were hungry and crazy because after the rain it got cold. So there was a huge army in a desolate situation. They had to have a winter quarter, a dry place to stay, enough to eat, urgently. So the general decided that they will have it in the next city. Unfortunately, he picked us. Walvoord, sending a mounted messenger to inform us that this is gonna happen, that they are on their way to us, and we should be ready when they arrive. Have everything organized for them. Open the gates, let them in, and supply them for the winter. This was a bad news. We were 6,000 and they were 40,000. We were Protestants and they were Catholics. And it was a religious war. At least the first half of it. Later they forgot why they started. Plus, they were not nice guests. Not soldiers, but mercenaries. The only thing they wanted was plunder and steal. Take all our goods and things, our wives and daughters, and we should let them in. Without fighting? Let them do all this? No way. These were brave people. And Walvoord was a free imperial city, a state in a state, with its own city government. So our senators were in charge to make a decision. And their decision was clear. They said no. They said it's better to stand up and fight. And we dared to. And I have to tell you, that didn't work. It was a short battle. Because as weak as the enemy were, they got a lot of big kills. Once they realized that we won't let them in. They were shooting from a distance against our walls. And we were shooting back once they were close enough. Because we got a smaller can in the way. But on the third day of the attack, we ran out of gunpowder. There were just a few barrels of gunpowder, all stored in the powder tower, which was a tower on the wall, a part of the fortification, and a pitched-up room inside, like towers usually are. And then something very stupid. It's hard to talk about. One of our own made this huge mistake. It was the guy who was in charge of the powder, making sure that no unauthorized person gets access to it. But for some reason, he himself went in. But with a torch. Maybe because it was so dark. Or maybe he just forgot what kind of tower it was. You know, later on, we couldn't ask him what the hell it was. But the result was impressive. He blew it. There was some heavy explosion, a gap in the wall, right where the main attack. Now we surrendered immediately. What else could we do? Hoping for mercy, we opened the gates and they came. But there was no mercy. We had killed more than 300 of them during the attack, while we had lost just 2 people so far. One was the guy with the torch. The other one was standing too close. And then these troops were here for 3 months. Not only in the city, also out in the villages, killing hundreds of our figure, which is supposed to be the devil. There's a devil in its hell. But still a nice place. Because it's a pub and restaurant, and it's open late. So when you people walk around in our city streets, and there's somebody showing up telling you, go to hell! It's a good recommendation.
That was the name of this pub that's open late here. Here's Rotenburg in the early misty morning. Here we are, walking to enter back in Rotenburg.
Better view of the Bavarian Alps. Kind of cloud covered today, but still quite beautiful. Another breathtaking view. Just gorgeous.
Here we are at the Hohenschwangau, getting ready to climb on up.
Ja, klar.
Here we are, Hohenschwangau. Looking at a courtyard. The lion fountain. Here we are, looking at the backside of Hohenschwangau. Another fountain. Plaque commemorating Maximilian, the builder of Hohenschwangau. Getting ready to take a trip to Neuschwanstein via the carriage. There it is. Here we are at the Neuschwanstein, or Schloss Neuschwanstein, or Castle Neuschwanstein. Here we are, still climbing up to see it. Here we are at the front. Here we are in the upper courtyard. There's the bridge. Here we are in München, or Munich. Here's our room that we're going to have for hopefully at least 2 nights. Here Megan and I are going to church. Here's what the church building looked like where we worshiped this morning in German, and you can see the headsets that we got to listen to translation on English. There's the Dachau Memorial and Visitor Center. As you'd walk into the camp, you'd see the sign, Arbeit macht frei, which was work makes freedom. Here's a model of the Dachau concentration camp in 1945. This is the building we are in right now. You can look out across the camp where the prisoners were kept, and then this is some of the places they would make them work. There's one of the watchtowers. And here's a reconstruction of the fence. You'll see the barbed wire leading up to the fence itself, which was also electrified on occasion. It's the Dachau Memorial. Replica buildings or barracks where the prisoners were held. They're replicas because the originals had to be burned down. This is what the sleeping quarters look like. Stacked pretty high. Just get in there and sleep. Each one of these gravel spots was the site of a similar bunkhouse. Rows just keep going and going. And they're also on the other side of the tree line there. Replica of the crematorium.
Very interesting. Found monster trucks in Dachau. Kind of funny. Well, I'd say not a bad view.
Here we are outside the Linderhof. There's the top of the fountain we saw a minute ago. Here we are in line waiting for our tour. It's the backside of Linderhof and the fountain that Ludwig could have woken to each morning, but he was here, lived here for 8 years, the last 8 of his life. There's the Venus Grotto. Once the king watched the opera from up there.
They were able to change the color with rotating discs in front of the lights. So the red color was the favorite light of Richard Wagner, of course, it was a romantic light. And this is the favorite light of King Ludwig II, the blue light. And this symbols the grotto in Capri, but King Ludwig II was never in the grotto in Capri, he had just heard about it, and so he wanted to have a grotto like the grotto in Capri. Now I turn on an artificial waterfall.
We are in the Marienplatz waiting for the Glockenspiel. the German outfits.